Hi crafters, this is Crafty Savvy and I'm here today to share a quick tutorial with you on how I made these little cards or journal pouches. I had these on a video that I made about 6 months ago or so, and since then I've had a few requests to show how I made them. So on that video I kind of do a talk through of how I created them, but I'll go through it in a little bit more depth, and they're really simple to do. So it started off as a card, so this was my sort of original, and so my second original, let's just say, because the first one I sent to somebody. So I wanted to make a card that was sort of different and vintage looking, so I came up with this little gatefold package, and so I used vintage book page on this one and did some sewing and a little bit of distressing on the edges. So it's tied shut with a little piece of lace, and then on one side of the flap I have a doily piece that I made, and that helps keep it closed and also sort of decorated on the entire front. And so then when you open the gatefold, it's just essentially a giant pocket inside, nothing fancy and pretty straightforward. So on that edge I just put a piece of lace and some flat back pearls. At the time when I sent my card, I had a tag that I made inside of the pocket and a little note that I had written, and I put it in there and tied it all up and sent it off, and I thought it was really cute. But I have also been using them in my journals, so using them, you know, to put inside pockets, so pretty much a pocket in a pocket. But so they're cute in your journals too because they're a good size, and you could make them as flat or as bulky as you wish. So like this example here, I'll put in my journal. So same kind of thing, except for this is a little lighter and it's on vintage music paper. And I have a tie on it just the same, and a doily piece. And then inside is some lace trim, and I try to use things that will stay flat. And there's the pocket. And then inside the pocket is just some ephemera. So just bits and pieces. So those go in there, and like I said, you can make it as thin or as bulky as you wish if it's going to be going inside of your journal. So that's what we're going to make. Okay, so I'm just going to put those aside. And so what you're going to need are 2 pieces of paper. So you could use old book page, music note paper like I showed you. You could use scrapbook paper, your coffee stained papers. The possibilities are endless. Also, that goes for whatever you choose to put on the front. I used my doilies because that's what I have in excess. And but you could probably use stickers. I also am going to try making some with some of those like old vintage jewelry pieces, or you know, some of that stuff that I showed you that I got from Susan. I could try putting on the front. So again, the possibilities are endless for that too. So whatever you've got around will work for that. So it doesn't have to be a doily like I have here. So you will need 2 pieces of paper, and I find that you'll want to start with a page that's at least 8.5 by 11. You're going to be cutting those pieces down. Oh, you don't have to. So if you can get pages that are 8.5 by 11, you're good. So like this is my music book paper that I have, and it's a large book. So if you've got something like this, you know, try using that. But this time we're going to use a sewing or stitching book, and this happens to be vintage. So you'll need 2 sheets of whatever it is that you're going to be using. And so the first sheet, now we're going to go through the sizes, okay? So when it's finished, when it's closed like this, the size is 5 1/4 by 4. So on your first sheet, you're going to want to do just a little bit of cutting here. So you're going to, this is the front and the top, and we're reading the words in the right way. And you guys know I have a thing about the words being all in the right way. So that's why we're going to go through this process like this. So this is 8 1/2 by 11. And then you want to measure down to 8, which is here. 8. And then you're going to take it to your trimmer and you're going to cut it straight across so that we remove this bottom portion, and you won't be needing that. Okay? So while we're here, we might as well finish with this page. So then the next thing that you want to do is start again from the top and measure down to 2 1/2, which is here. Oh, sorry, here. So 2 1/2, and you can either take it to your scoreboard or just put 2 marks and fold it by hand. And you're just going to want to fold it, so turn it over and find your 2 1/2 your 2 1/2 inch mark there, and you want to make a fold. Okay, so this is going to be upside down now, but when you fold it on itself, you're going to have these words facing you in the right way, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's what we have now. So we had that, we measured down 2 1/2, we turned it over and we folded that up, and that's what we're left with. Okay, so that's that sheet. The other sheet that you have, you just want to take it to your trimmer and cut it right in half. So you want to measure down to 5 1/2. So measure down 5 1/2 and then cut your sheet completely in half, and you'll be needing both of those 2 sheets. Okay, so once you have those 3 parts, the next thing we're going to do is you're going to take your sheet that's folded, and you're going to take one of those 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 pieces, and you're going to put it right inside there. Okay, just going to put it right inside there. Okay, so now we'll take that second half of the paper that we cut, and we're just going to put it towards the back of this whole thing. So what we have now is the first half of that paper, and we've just placed it inside of that piece of paper that we folded up and made that edge there. And then the third piece is just going to be on the back of this. And so like we've created a little sandwich, okay? So then once we get there, like I said, you don't have to sew this. I probably will, but whether you do or whether you don't, you're going to have to glue this all together. And the reason why I used all of the pieces from those two pages was because I like these to be a little bit thicker. I don't want them to be too flimsy. So this is where you're going to want to get some glue, some wet glue. And if you're going to sew this, you don't want to get your glue too close to any of the edges, because it's going to be really hard to run your needle through the glue, especially when it's dry. So I'm just going to flip this over. And so probably about, let's see, maybe about a half an inch away, I just place some glue. It's just to kind of keep it from moving around anywhere. Just like that. And we're just going to want to take that and place it inside here. if things don't really line up, you can always trim it down later. So I just want to get that in there and press it down. So now we have that glued to that inside part, and there's our flap still, okay? So that's good. So then we just want to turn this over. And the reason why we're using that third piece is because if you look at your page like this, with the flap at the front, and you flip it over, this is already upside down. So to some people that might not matter. To me it does. So I just like to see it finished. So that third piece of paper can go right on top. And now this way, the whole entire thing has all of the words going the right way. You can eliminate this step if it doesn't bother you. You could just go ahead and leave it like this. It's perfectly fine. But I am going to put some glue on here. Just like that. And I'm going to put this on top. Okay, so now the whole thing is stuck together, okay? Now, I would love to be able to take this and you to my sewing machine, but my sewing machine's on the fritz. I don't know what's happening to it. It probably just needs a really good cleaning, so I'm going to eliminate the sewing part. But I'll tell you, if you want to take this to your sewing machine, I would do that at this step now. And so the first thing I would do at my sewing machine is, so we didn't glue this down. So if you want to go to your sewing machine, I would probably sew around this flap first so that this edge has a nice sewn edge across it, a line, sorry, across it. So I would sew here, right? And then fold it back up. And then you could take the whole thing and sew all the way across and all the way around on your sewing machine. Okay, so you could do this whole entire outside square, and this will already have been done. And then you would have that all nicely sewn together. So just like these ones here, all nicely sewn around. Okay, but I can't take it to the sewing machine, so I'm just going to apply some glue, and we're going to pretend that it's sewn. Also, at this point, would be a good idea if you want to do some inking. You could do that now. Oops. So you could go ahead and apply this. And I should have not glued that down yet. If you want to do your edge, you could do that now. And we're not going to make it perfect because we're trying to hurry. Okay. And you probably want to do the back too. Okay, not too much. So that's that. So now this is where I avoid the ruler. You probably don't need it. So I would just take this and fold it in half and pinch it where at the fold, okay? So that you're just making a line, so you know where to bring your flaps into. So right there. Okay, and then you'll just take the one side and you want to fold it in on itself towards that crease mark that you just made there. So you'll take that and you'll fold it in. Just like that. Get your bone folder and make nice creases. Okay, and we'll take the other side and we'll fold it in on itself towards that crease that you made. and you'll fold down. Okay, so now you have your gatefold. Just like that. There's your pocket. All right. So you probably want to do a little bit more inking there. Just like that. Oops, sorry. Okay, and then what you want to do is get yourself some lace or some trim or something that you want to use for a tie. I just kind of eyeball these things, but I will tell you roughly how long this is. It's 12. So there's about, 16 or 17 inches there. So I like to have mine so that it doesn't fall off. So I would just turn over your whole entire thing here and maybe apply some, get my glue gun here, and maybe just apply a thin bead of glue across the center, or wherever it is that you want to put it, and attach that there. And we're going to be off. That always happens, especially on camera, so we'll try that again. Just trying to make sure they have an even amount on each side there, more or less. Okay, so now that's down. Okay, so the next thing I did was so this is where you can use whatever you want for the front. I have, let's see if I have a bit of a darker one. Yeah, we'll just use this one. So I just have another doily piece that I made. So I'll bring this piece of lace in over here because I want to make sure that it stays anchored. So I'll just put a bit of glue there to the edge and put that down. Sorry about my arm. Okay. And then on my doily piece, I'm just going to apply glue to one half of it. I don't want to glue the other half because then we'll glue the whole thing shut, and we don't want to do that. And then I'm going to attach it to this half of my envelope here. Okay. So now that's done. So that's pretty much the front all complete. Oops, sorry I'm out of frame. This whole camera is still throwing me off. And then, so if you want to decorate the inside, you can go ahead and do that. So again, I'm just going to use my glue gun. I'm going to run some glue just across this edge here. And I will put down some lace. And my glue gun apparently does not want to cooperate today, just like my sewing machine. Everything's against me. That always happens when you get on camera, right? Okay, I'll just trim that down. And that's it, you guys. There's your little pocket. You can easily put your ephemera in there, or do what I did and make a little card for somebody and put your note in there. And close it up. And you can tie it closed. Like so. Whoops, it's a little bit loose. There we go. Okay. And like I said, it would look really, really pretty with stitching all around it too, but for the interest of time and my broken sewing machine, that's what we have. Okay, so I hope that helps the ladies that were asking about these little envelope pouches, and I hope you guys will give it a try. It's a lot of fun, and once you get going, you can make a whole bunch of them for your stash and just have them ready to go for your journals. So if you have any other questions, just let me know in the comments and I will answer them for you. Other than that, I hope you guys are all well, and we will be back with another tutorial, I think, on some other things that I got questions about, and that's it. So hope you guys are good, and we will talk to you all real soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.